information about the Africans Telecourse, video cassettes, and off-air taping, telephone the Annenberg CPB project at 1-800-LEARNER. The African's Companion Book, published by Little Brown, is available in bookstores and...
Good evening and welcome to College 56, your source for IPFW volleyball action. Tonight, the Dons...
The sound of sovereign thrones above the hand-tied bureaucrat who moans.
What are you going to look for?
Well, IPFW, they're coming off a tough win last night against Lewis here at home. Look for them to come out and hopefully establish themselves as the better team. Newark, New Jersey, they came out. Rutgers did last night. They lost a tough match to Ohio State at Ohio State. So look for them. They're kind of a scrappy team. The record doesn't kind of indicate that, but look for it to be a competitive match tonight.
How about the offense for IPFW? Chris Gislin, the setter, setting the middle a little more these days.
Consistency has been the big factor for IPFW and Chris Gislin. Look for him to establish the middle early here tonight to get the outsides going.
All right, thank you very much, Ryan. We got a great matchup tonight, IPFW versus Rutgers. You're watching College 56. I'm Jay Warren. Ryan Parrott will be up in just a moment.
A 6'2" sophomore from Racine, Wisconsin, number 7, Ryan Burrow. A 6'5" senior from Tucson, Arizona, number 10, Jason Hammernick. A 6'4" sophomore from Evanston, Illinois, number 11, Jeremy Hoff. The libero for the Scarlet Raiders, a 6'3" freshman from Newark, New Jersey, number 6, Alexander Malakovich. The Scarlet Raiders are coached by Sean Byron. And now, the starters for your IPFW Mastodons. A 6'4" sophomore from Hamburg, New York, number 5, Jeff Petak. A 6'8" sophomore from Racine, Wisconsin, number 9, Josh Sanders. A 6'7" senior from Red Wing, Minnesota, number 10, Chris Gislin. A 6'8" senior from Young America, Minnesota, number 11, Mike Cummings. A 6'6" senior from Arojo, Puerto Rico, number 13, Hector Soto. A 6'8" senior from Huntington Beach, California, number 15, Scott Lane. The libero for the Dons, a 6'5" junior from Huntington Beach, California, number 14, John Thompson. The Dons are coached by Arnie Ball. He is assisted by Dave Schmidlin, Mark Franke, Lisa Horman, and Dennis Johnson.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Hilliard Gates Sports Center on the campus of Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. This is Jay Warren along with Ryan Parrott calling the action in this evening's men's volleyball match between the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers University, Newark, and the 2000 IPFW Volleydons. Both teams have been announced. Little pregame huddle there. IPFW doing a little pump up there, and we're about ready to kick things off. Well, Ryan, what does IPFW need to do to get moving right away?
IPFW, well, they're going to come out. They had a tough match last night against Lewis, and they're going to come out, hopefully dominate the match. They're the 9th seeded team in the nation, and you know, they're going to come out, work on probably a few things, like we mentioned in the beginning about setting the middle, and hopefully get off to a good start and have some good consistency in their play tonight.
All right, we'll get to a little more of that in a second. This telecast of this IPFW men's volleyball match is brought to you in part by Dairy Queen, Waterfield Mortgage, Fujifilm, Touchstone, Chestnut Group Incorporated, Farm Bureau Insurance, and Pizza Hut of Canterbury. We've got a side out. Scott Lane is back to serve for IPFW. Set to the opposite there on the part of Rutgers, and a net violation is called on IPFW. Side out Rutgers.
Last night, IPFW owned the net against Lewis. Let's see if they can continue that success here tonight against Rutgers.
Pass is on the money to Chris Gislin. A little bit of a low set there in the middle. Into the block, point, Scarlet Raiders. Float serve. Hector Soto gets gobbled up a little bit there. Scott Lane off the top of the block, and that is a side out for the Dons. Jeff Petak back to serve. Free ball to the Dons. In transition, big time, Hector Soto.
Nice shot there by Hector Soto, his first kill. It should be noted that Hector Soto, now after that kill, just 2 kills away from 2,000. He is number 1 on the all-time IPFW Volleyball list.
Little jump float attempt on the part of Petak into the net. Side out Newark. And Jason Hammernick will serve it up for Scarlet Raiders. Top spin there. Little dump on the part of Chris Gislin. Overpass there, and he was able to make do. Side out Dons.
Nice play by Gislin at the net. The little Statue of Liberty flick over the wrist. It's been aggressive the last couple nights.
Quick middle. Nothing doing, says Mike Cummings. Point, IPFW.
No, they're going to call that. That went through the arms of Mike Cummings.
Oh, down the chimney.
Side out to Rutgers.
Back to Lane out of the back row, and he is good for a side out. And Chris Gislin is rewarded with the serve there.
Scott Lane off to a fast start. 2 quick kills. It's a good sign for the Volley Dons.
And Gislin with his top spin. Overpass. Hector Soto knows what to do with those.
The serve set that up for Hector. Gislin with that hard topspin jump serve.
1 kill away from 2,000.
Took something off of that one.
Pursuit by the Volley Dons. Not going to work into the bench there. That's a side out for Rutgers. Into the game for Rutgers, Jeremy Hoff. And Christos, that's a heck of a last name for Rutgers.
Samadias.
Thank you very much, Ryan, for bailing me out of that one. 4 hits on IPFW. That's a point for Rutgers.
Gislin trying to force the middle that time. A bad set. Couldn't connect with Mike Cummings. Point to Rutgers.
Samadias will toss it up again. Nice pass there. The tandem. Hector Soto putting that ball away. That is 2,000.
Now 13th on the all-time NC2A list with 2,000 kills. Congratulations to Hector Soto.
Absolutely. Side out Rutgers. Serving it up will be Jeremy Desserin. Is that how you pronounce that? All right. Good pass. Able to run the quick middle there. Side out IPFW.
Scott Lane that time hitting the middle. Very versatile as a player. Has played the middle position before.
Mike Cummings will float it in there. Barely cleared the net. Almost. Side out Rutgers. Chris Goers. Good pass on the part of Petak.
Nice shot there by Josh Sanders.
Sanders able to put that one away.
Starting tonight in the place of Angel Ruiz.
And Scott Lane. Down the line, nice serve on the part of Lane. Very little movement there on the part of the passers for Rutgers.
That was Lane's 37th ace this season. He leads the Dons in that category.
And the overpass there, forced again by Lane's tough serve. Point Dons.
Josh Sanders nailing the overpass. Set up by Scott Lane's jump serve.
IPFW on top 4-2 here in game one. Serves into the net, side out Rutgers. Back to serve, Jeremy Hoff, 6'4" sophomore. Jeff Petak able to pass up that floater.
Middle's very active early for the Dons. Josh Sanders another kill.
And Jeff Petak rewarded with the serve. Little jump float, good pass. Trying to shoot there, and a net violation on the part of Rutgers. IPFW gets a point. Dons lead 5-2.
Nice serve by
Yes.
Patak.
Service ace, Jeff Petak. Timeout is called by Rutgers. A little bit about the jump floater, Ryan. Most guys in their floaters, they're stationary. They're on their feet. What does the jump floater give for a server?
Well, it's something new that Jeff Patak has been working on. His knees have been giving him a little bit of difficulty in recent weeks, and he's decided to abandon the topspin. The jump floater, what that does, you're hitting the ball at a different trajectory, so you're causing the ball to move. It's like a float serve, but just that you're hitting it with a toss. You're making the ball move at a different trajectory. It gives passers difficulty, and Jeff has one of the best jump floaters I've seen in volleyball.
A little shot there. Some relaxed IPFW volleyball fans, it looks like. And we're back to action now. Dons lead 6-2 here in game one. Jeff Petak had an ace just prior to the timeout. Passed up nicely by Rutgers. However, Chris Gislin saying no way. Solo block on the outside hitter.
Great block by Gislin on the outside. He leads the team in blocks. That was his 95th on the season.
And that's going to happen when he's on the right side. Team's feeding the ball out to their left. Little dump there. Another point. Gislin responsible for another point. Don's up 8-2. And side out Rutgers. Ryan Burrow is able to go high off the block. And Jason Hammernick back to serve.
Nice pass there by JT.
Hector Soto putting that high outside set away. Side out Dons into the game, Mike Cummings.
Great run by the Dons there. All started with the great pass by John Thompson, the libero. Here's Sanders' float serve.
Quick middle's good for Rutgers, side out. That's number 1, Jeremy Deseron. Ryan Burrow. Tough serve, that's an overpass. Rutgers gets a free swing at it. Oh, having to free ball it over. Tandem there for IPFW, and that is a side out.
That time Hector Soto coming left to right, running behind Chris Gislin. Able to hit the 5-ball deep cross court for a side out.
Running the middle is number 4, Chris Goers, the setter. Side out, Rutgers. Scott Lane siding out for IPFW. Chris Gislin setting the middle there, and the ball was going over the net. A little miscommunication there between Chris and Mike Cummings.
They haven't connected thus far tonight, whether it's Mike Cummings either being late or the set just a bit out of his reach,
So
whatever. They have to get back on target, because that's what Gislin wants to run tonight. He wants to run the middle and get those guys involved.
Right. Good pass, Rutgers, side out to number 10, Jason Hammernick. So more of a timing issue there with regard to Chris Gislin and Mike Cummings. Back to serve, number 1, Jeremy Deseron.
And for IPFW to be a very good team, they have to be able to establish their middles.
Tandem there is good, side out IPFW.
So that can exactly happen where they can open up the outside hitters.
Chris Gislin feeding Scott Lane. And we got a substitution now for the Dons, number 2, John Scott. Back to serve. Nice dig on the part of Petak. He gets it back. Blocked, though, so that's a side out for Rutgers. And John Thompson, the libero for IPFW, back in. Back to serve for Rutgers, Josh Junn, a freshman, 6'3" freshman. And his version of the jump floater, not as good as Jeff Petak's.
Into the bottom of the net there. Very ugly looking serve.
Happens now and then, though. Feeding the outside, and that is wide side, or rather point IPFW. Number 4, Chris Goers feeding the outside on a tough pass forced by Scott Lane. Scott Lane's jump serve just a little long, side out, Scarlet Raiders of Newark.
Scotty trying to go up the line that time, just missing.
Jeremy Hoff returns the favor and is long, Jeff Petak will toe the line for IPFW.
Jeff, the second best server on this IPFW volleyball team.
Will jump floater, and that is long as well. So 3 service aces there, back to back to back. Jason Hammernick back to serve for Rutgers. Nice pass there. Scott Lane out of the back row, and he's able to go off the block for the side out. Mike Cummings into the game. Nice pass there, the part of Rutgers. Showing angle but hitting line is number 5, Christos Samadias. Tell us a little bit about that. He was looked as though he was coming across court, and then the ball went down the line. What do you need to do that?
That was great disguise on Samadias' part. His body torqued going cross court, able to cut that across his body, just like that.
Hector Soto showing us how it's done.
These guys have all the shots, able to look the defense off, aim one way, hit another.
Off the hands of Cummings, and ball basically hovered above his head for a couple seconds there, didn't know where it was. And that's a side out, Rutgers. Samadias towing the line, he will serve. IPFW leads 9-2, game 1. Side out Dons. Hector Soto back to serve. Little comment from the crowd there on the set of number 4, Chris Goers. Had to go low to get that. No call is made. However, that's a point for the Dons. They lead 10-2. Hector Soto, tall toss on the part of Hector Soto, but his jump serve is long. Side out Rutgers.
He jumps so high, he has to toss it high.
Overpass there. IPFW spared though, gets it back and side out. Into the game for the Dons, Josh Sanders. John Thompson, the libero, is out. And back to serve, Mike Cummings. Hector Soto digging it up, going over. Set to the middle. Hector Soto touches another, but that is out of bounds. Side out, Scarlet Raiders. And quickly back into the game is John Thompson.
Just out of Hector Soto's reach. Second on the team in digs is Hector.
Little scramble there on the part of Rutgers, and they're called for 4 hits. 11-2 Dons, game 1 in this best of 5. John Thompson unable to handle the quick middle there on the part of Rutgers. Side out, Scarlet Raiders.
Rutgers, a lot of success early running the middle.
Jeremy Hoff into the net. Side out Dons.
When Rutgers is able to pass well, they'll be able to set the middle more. IPFW negating that by serving tough.
The jump float. Passed well. Side out Rutgers.
Nice shot by Jason Hemmernick there. He's rewarded by getting the opportunity here to serve.
Nice pass. Hector Soto gets it back. Dug up there off the block. In the back row is Hammernick. And he puts it away. That is what appears to be a rare point for the Rutgers as they trail the Dons 10-3. Hammernick. Down the line. P-Tex, no problem. Scott Lane out of the back row.
Scott Lane's 5th kill this game. Looking very strong here early.
Set to the outside. And number 5, Samadias, is hitting long. It looked kind of like he lowered his shoulder a little bit there.
That time trying to disguise it again, going cross court. That time aiming cross court, hitting line, just hit it long.
Quick set is good for Rutgers. Number 1, Jeremy Deseron, is able to put that away. Side out, Scarlet Raiders.
Another successful run for the Raiders in the middle.
Will shoot to Cummings, and that is dug up. Free ball in transition. Out of the back row is Jeff Pitek, and that's a side out for the Dons.
Pitek coming out of the pipe, able to sneak it through 2 blockers. There's Chris Gislin back to serve.
Mishandled ball there, double hit on the part of the setter, Chris Goers. That is a point for the Dons, and another timeout for the Rutgers Scarlet Raiders. We'll be right back with more Mastodon volleyball action right after this. Hey, welcome back. Waving to the camera, there we go. The little girl's somewhat reluctant there. That thumb looks better than the camera does, I should say. This is Jay Warren along with Ryan Perrott. This is College 56, your source for IPFW volleyball action. Right now, the Dons lead Rutgers 12-3 in game one. There's the IPFW dancing squad there. Ready to go. And both sides strolling back onto the court. Back to serve Chris Gislin. We got a side out, or rather a point for the Dons. Ball hit the antenna there, Ryan.
Ball hit the antenna of that attack. Ball's out of bounds. Point to IPFW.
To the outside, blocked. In transition, Jeff Pitak out of the back row, unable to convert, hitting it into the net. That's a side out Rutgers.
Serving number 5, first goes
Samadias back to serve. Jump serve is long, side out Dons. Look at Samadias there. A little frustrated with his team's play possibly as the Dons lead 13-3. Hector Soto to bomb one. In transition, Gislin to Cummings. Cummings didn't get quite all of it. A little tip parade here. There we go, as Chris Gislin feeding Cummings a second time, and they're able to convert there. Still maybe working on the timing issues.
Timing issues. That the first one looked like Mike Cummings a bit late on the set from Gislin. Gislin, enough confidence to go back to his Minnesota mate. Junior able to put it to the floor. Game point now for the Dons.
And Hector Soto stalls that with a service error. Side out Rutgers, back to serve Jeremy Deseron. Deseron's floater to Hector Soto, passing it up to the outside. Jeff Pitek gobbled up with a little pancake there. Rutgers with the swing at it. That is dug up by Chris Gislin. Cummings able to keep that ball alive, and Gislin, a rare attack from the back row. Jeff Pitek able to put that ball away. Finishing off a nice little rally there at 14-3.
Great up in the backcourt by John Thompson, libero for IPFW, sticking out his left arm, saving the play for the Dons. Another chance now for game point.
Mike Cummings passed well to the outside. Not yet, says number 11, Jeremy Hoff of Rutgers.
Huge swing out of the left side by Hoff.
Down the line, gobbling up Pitek there. Trouble.
He's got an ace.
And Rutgers claim one back, 14-4.
That was a tough serve there. Jammed Jeff Pitak up.
Does he go back to Pitek now?
He's going to work on him.
Does, yep. Hector Soto from the right side. Chris Gislin reaching hard. Scott Lane blocked and then picked up.
Great set by Soto.
And Jeff Pitak gets a hold of that ball. Putting up the nice barrier there, blocking the ball down. That's a side out for the Dons. And we have match point again, Scott Lane. Or rather game point. I'm going to hit myself here. Down the line, hard serve.
This should be it here.
In transition, out of the middle is number 9, Josh Sanders, putting away the final point of the game. And the Dons go ahead in this match at 1-0, winning game one, 15-4. We'll be right back with more Mastodon volleyball action right after this.
I really wanted to go for an Indiana University business degree.
But with housing and tuition, it really adds up, and the money just wasn't there to go away to college.
And with a 2-year-old, my housing options were kind of limited anyway.
And the truth is, I really wanted to keep my job and stay close to home.
Going to IPFW made all that possible.
IPFW? The best choice I ever made.
Indiana University, Purdue University, Fort Wayne. The right school, right here, right now.
Crackhead, drug dealer, street hustler, gang member. All kicked out of the community with the help of kids
Like me.
Me.
Us.
You can make a difference. We have the power to help prevent crime. Call 1-800-722-TEENS to find out what you can do in your community.
It's time we're judged by
What we do.
not how we look.
Welcome back, everyone. Jay Warren along with Ryan Perrott. This is College 56 volleyball action with IPFW against the Rutgers Scarlet Raiders. IPFW taking game 1, and those fans are pleased about it. Ryan, a little recap of game 1 there. What were the key factors there for the Dons?
Well, IPFW able to establish their offense through their middles because they were so successful, and IPFW as a team hit 53%, which is absolutely outstanding. And that set everything up because their middles were so successful there in game 1. Chris Gislin running a lot of balls in the middle. That's opening up things for the outside, Patak and Soto and Lane.
All right. You too can participate in the excitement of Mastodon athletics by joining the Royal Dons Athletic Association. The Royal Dons is IPFW's official athletic booster organization. Members enjoy benefits such as priority seating at IPFW sports events and visits by the coaches and food and refreshments in the hospitality room. For more information about the Royal Dons, call 219-481-6958 or write to Royal Dons Athletic Association, 2101 East Coliseum Boulevard, Fort Wayne, Indiana at 46805. You gotta love the hospitality room when you're part of the Royal Dons club. At least I'm sure it's good. I've not experienced the
We got to get you out one time.
Yes, that's right.
Get you out one time.
Yep. A little milling around here before game 2. What does Rutgers need to do to pull things together now?
Well, IPFW, since they're serving tough, IPFW 2 aces that first game alone. Rutgers is going to have to be able to pass the ball better. They had a lot of success running the middles. Hammernook is hitting 33%. Deseren is hitting 1,000%. He's 4 for 4. So if they can pass the ball, they can run the middle. They've had some success there. Try to slow down IPFW's top jump servers. There's a shank to open up game 2.
And Rutgers forced to free ball the ball over. Quick middle run to Josh Sanders. And that is a point right off the bat for IPFW. So another bad pass there on the part of Rutgers. They've been worked over by IPFW's serving. And yet another. Jeff Pitak sticking out his left hand and dropping that tip down.
You're going to call a net violation, I believe, there on one of the IPFW Mastodons.
So 1-0, the score remains. High outside to Jeff Pitak. He knows what to do with those. Side out Dons.
If you look at the numbers through the first game, Chris Gislin establishing everyone around. He's distributing the ball very well. That's Patak's 10th set, 7 kills.
The jump floater, no good that time. Notice the little ritual there, Jeff Pitak smooching the ball, it looked like. Is that some kind of a superstition, or?
All servers have some sort of ritual before they swing. Nice shot there by Sanders. That's his 7th kill in 9 attempts.
And he's back for his version of the floater. Good pass there. Big hit on the part of number 5, Samadias. Side out Rutgers. Into the game for Rutgers. Milakovic, the libero. Alexander Milakovic. Big serve.
Tough jump serve. That's going to be an ace. Their first of the night, Rutgers.
Ryan Burrow bringing the heat. So, game 2 tied at 1. IPFW versus Rutgers Newark. Another tough serve, not quite as tough as the first one. Big dig on the part of Milakovic, but unable to keep it in bounds. And that's a side out.
That dig just barely missed the line there. Nice eyes on the part of Jess Pitak. Giving possession here to the Dons.
Milakovic unable to pass that jump serve. Overpassed. And that nets a point for the Dons as Hector Soto is fed and he delivers his all too familiar roll shot.
Great shot by Hector. He's got that great disguise. Able to put it in front of the Newark Rutgers defender.
And number 5, Samadias, putting the ball away for the Scarlet Raiders. Into the game, number 9, Danko Iordnov. We got the Slavic representation here for Rutgers. They play some good volleyball there in Europe. Samadias. No problem there. Mike Cummings slowed down by the Rutgers block. IPFW staying in this rally. A little roll shot on the part of Scott Lane. Out of the back court was number 10, Jason Hammernick, but Hammernick ran into the block of IPFW, and that's a side out.
Nice block by Cummings at the net there. Big stuff block, IPFW. 4 stuff blocks tonight. Rutgers only 2.
Hector Soto's pass serve is passed well. Side out Rutgers.
IPFW winning the defensive battles overall, out-digging Rutgers 15-9 through 1 game. Winning the battle at the net, just like they did last night against Lewis. When they do that, they're going to be successful.
Jeff Pitak is shut down. Point Rutgers, and they tie the second game 2-2.
Big block there at the net for Rutgers. They have a little momentum here.
Ball is dug. Unable to get a good attack on that, however. Giving IPFW another shot at it, and they're able to do it that time. So a good dig on the part of number 1, Jeremy Deseron.
Rutgers starting to touch a lot of ball in their backcourt. Trying to extend some of the rallies.
Quick back set there, and that's a side out Rutgers.
The backslide, we saw it last night when Lewis ran it. Very successful when you take off by one leg. You see it a lot in women's volleyball.
Yeah, you don't see it much in men's. Why is that?
Well, the athleticism part of it. A lot of the guys like to come and bomb the heat off the 2 feet. They don't like to, perhaps whether it looks funny or what have you, taking off at one leg, but it's very successful. I know I ran it a lot. Nice shot there by Josh Sanders going over the top in the middle. Now IPFW's most feared server, Scott Lane, back to serve. Let's see if he tries to go up that line. It's his favorite jump serve. A lot of topspin he does, just long.
Just long. That's side out Rutgers, who incidentally lead game 2, 3-2.
IPFW now 10 service errors. You want to try to keep that number low.
Hector Soto passing a nail there. Back set. And that goes off the head of number 5, Samadias. So a quick back set there, and Samadias gets a few marbles knocked loose. Jeff Petak, jump floater is long. So another service error on the part of IPFW here in game 2.
IPFW pressing the issue on their serves, sailing a couple long.
Ball is dug. Chris Gislin to Scott Lane. And the ball hit the antenna on the attack. So that is another point for Rutgers.
Rutgers, you can see the energy of the fellas on the court.
Trying to pump themselves up a little bit.
Starting to touch a lot of balls in the backcourt. It's getting the guys going. There's another dig, almost.
In the right spot, number 5, Samadias, almost able to come up with that one.
Rutgers, a very scrappy team. They'll hang in there till the end.
Josh Sanders brings it in. And
There's
that
a nice
ball
dig.
is dug, yep. Chris Gislin outside to Hector Soto, reaching high for that one and putting that ball down. And the Dons tick back a point there, close the gap, 3-4 now.
Great dig in the backcourt by Scott Lane that time.
Out of the middle is number 1, Jeremy Deseron, and he is fed by Chris Goers.
It's been perfect so far tonight, Deseron has. 5 kills and 5 attempts.
Ryan Burrow. Tough jump serve there, passed very nicely by Scott Lane. Goer setting his backcourt players. A little broken play there on the part of the Dons. Hector Soto playing a roll shot, and it's unable to clear the net. 5-3 Rutgers. Another big serve there. Chris Gislin moving
It's a
nicely.
tough set. The ball hit the antenna by Soto.
But give credit to Chris Gislin for getting over there.
Tough serve on the part of Rutgers. Now they have a 3-point lead here in game 2.
Scott Lane hitting long. So a quick little flurry of points there, and Rutgers is up 7-3 here in game 2. Under the tough serving of Ryan Burrow, although that comes to an end as he serves into the center of the net. And that's a side out for the Dons. Chris Gislin is back to serve.
Let's see if IPFW can match the energy level now of Rutgers. They're very energized here in game 2. It's a good pass.
Lakovic with the pass. Samadias is blocked. That's a point, Dons, and they scrape back to 7-4.
Cummings and Lane together with the block. IPFW with the point there.
Lakovic unable to do much with Gislin's serve, though they are able to side out into the game for the Scarlet Raiders, number 9, Danko Yordanov.
Back-to-back service errors there by Rutgers. They've stalled here at 7.
Hector Soto. Beautiful block there. However, it stays on the side of the Dons, and that's a side out Rutgers. Jeremy Deseron serving it up, causing a little trouble for the Dons. Chris Gislin trying to feed the quick back set, and that's a point for Rutgers. They lead 8-4 here in game 2. Scott Lane taking care of the passing, and Jeff Petak gets fed for a side out.
Nice shot by Petak going hard cross court.
Mike Cummings barely clears the net.
Overpass.
Josh Sanders.
Wow, great serve by Cummings there, nice and flat to the net. Handcuffing the Rutger passer for the overpass. Josh Sanders able to put it away.
Quick middle to number 10, Jason Hammernick.
Great success for Rutgers tonight running the middle. Hammernick, his 8th kill.
Chris Goers serving the ball in. And Jeff Petak going hard cross court for the side out. Jeff Petak sporting a different hair color there today. A little short and red, looks like. So Gislin digs a hard ball by Iordinov. And then back to Iordinov, who puts the overpass away for the kill. Side out Rutgers. Hector Soto passing the ball. Gislin outside. Jeff Petak bombing it into Milakovic, the Librero, and that's a side out Dons.
Petak looking very strong in the front row there. 3 kills. Oh, going with the float serve on the ground. Again, another quick attack by Rutgers.
So definite success there, running that middle. Hector Soto passing and hitting, and he just goes over top of everyone. Side out Dons. Josh Sanders back to serve now. Mike Cummings, the kill for the Dons out of the hands of Chris Gislin. Point Dons. And they trail Rutgers now 6-8.
Great play all around there by the Dons. Great touch off the block. Jeff Petak with an unbelievable dig in the backcourt, pushing the ball all the way to the net, enabling Chris Gislin to set the middle. That shot long there for the Rutgers player.
Ryan Burrow with a hitting error, bringing the Dons one notch closer. They trail 7-8 now. Passing a little bit better for Rutgers in game 2, and the score shows it.
That time a big block by Cummings in the middle with the perfect pass. They're going to run the middle. And Coach Sean Byron wants timeout.
Bring IPFW head men's volleyball coach Arnie Ball into your home each Wednesday and Thursday evening this season. Arnie joins assistant coach Mark Franke to review the Mastodons' progress, discuss the highlights, meet with players, and look ahead to upcoming volleyball action. Tune into the Arnie Ball Show Wednesday evenings at 9 and Thursday evenings at 7, right here on College 56. Well, Josh Sanders getting a talking to there, a little lecture on the part of Arnie Ball. A little positioning on the court, it looks like. And let's show you a replay there. And we've got the Rutgers player. That's number 7, Ryan Burrow, who was doing a nice job earlier with his serves, causing a little confusion on the part of IPFW's passers, and able to lead his squad to 8 points. However, in the meantime, the Dons have closed the gap, and the game 2 of this match is now tied at 8 apiece. And Ryan Burrows hard off the block. That is a quick side out right after the timeout. So the pep talk on the part of Coach Sean Byron gets his guys going. Burrows. Hard jump serve into the top of the tape. That's a side out IPFW. Chris Gislin will go back to serve for the Dons.
8 service errors now for Rutgers. They have to minimize that in order to be successful here in game 2.
Out of the back court, number 10, Jason Hammernick. And that is a side out for the Dons. Entering the game for Rutgers, Iordnov. He'll replace Malakovic, the libero. Perfect pass. Iordnov with the block there. Back to Iordnov. He goes down the line. Chris Gislin unable to dig that ball up. He was in the right spot. Unable to pop it up, though.
Shot just handcuffed Gislin. Unable to get the Gator dig out. Point to Rutgers. They take the lead now 9-8.
Samadeus floats one over. Gislin outside. And Scott Lane puts the ball away. A little confusion there on the part of the play-by. What do we have? What was the call there, Ryan? Did we catch that?
I think the official is calling that ball out of bounds off the antenna. Or outside of the antenna. I didn't see it happen, but that was the call.
In any case, that ball was in on the part of Hector Soto. Side out Dons. Dons trail Rutgers Scarlet Raiders 8-10. Hector Soto going to try to do something about that.
There's an overpass. Should be a chance here for a point.
Oh, mishandled ball call on the part of Chris Gislin. I'm not sure that looked any different than any of his other middle sets. Though ours is not to question why. Into the game for Rutgers, Jeremy Hoff.
Crucial serving error there by Deseron.
Out of the game for Rutgers is Deseron. Mike Cummings for IPFW. Iordnov with the big left hand. Gislin and Scott Lane go chasing, unable to gather that one in. And that's a side out Rutgers. Number 4, Chris Goers is back for Rutgers to serve it up. Jeff Pitak with the pass. Pitak gets it back. Off a beam there, Iordnov setting the backcourt. And number 5, Samadias able to put it away for Rutgers, and they go ahead 11-8 here in game 2.
Great sequence there by Rutgers. Nice touch off the block. Able to convert in transition.
Good pass on the part of Soto. Back to Scott Lane. High off the block, and that goes back and out of bounds. Side out IPFW. Iordnov with the big left. That's a great touch on the part of the libero. John Thompson getting the ball up. I say that point goes to John Thompson for popping that ball up.
Great play in the backcourt there. Able to dig the overpass. John Thompson sprawling out, giving up his body. Point to the Dons.
Scott Lane down the line. Quick middle. And that is a familiar sight as Jason Hammernick hammering the ball right up the gut.
A lot of success for Rutgers here in game 2 running the middle. They've passed much better since game 1, allowing that to happen.
Most definitely. Iordnov.
IPFW is going to have to adjust.
Hector Soto passing perfectly. Little tip there on the part of Chris Gislin. And that is a side out for the Dons. Perfect pass, Gislin tips. When do you want to tip as a setter?
Well, Gislin wants to establish himself offensively because he is in the front row. When you have that happen, then all your defensive players on your opposing team, as that ball is going to sail along, have your opponents guessing defensively whether or not you're going to be setting the ball or whether you're going to be dumping the ball. So you have to play it aggressively, and Chris Gislin's doing that just that here tonight. Nice serve by Patak. That's going to be an ace.
And Jeff Patak tying this match, tying the game rather, at 11-11.
Jeff back to the jump floater. It's it nice and low to the net.
High outside. And that's a side out Rutgers. Hammernick with the kill, I believe. Back to serve anyway is Hammernick. Gislin with the dump again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, we're in trouble.
Chris Gislin, a lot of success dumping the volleyball.
John Scott enters the game for IPFW. The jump serve is long, John Scott. And exits quickly back into the game, John Thompson. Ryan Burrow. Into the top of the net is Burrow, side out Dons.
A lot of service errors here in the latter part of game 2 by Rutgers.
A little off-speed jump serve on the part of Gislin. A little scrambling around there on the part of IPFW, and Hector Soto puts that ball away.
Great dig in the backcourt by Jeff Patak. Little ding play. Gislin played the first ball. Patak able to scoop underneath it to keep that ball alive, and Soto put it away.
Well, we have a brief little stoppage here as Rutgers mops the floor. Learn more about Mastodon sports in season by tuning into the Mastodon Spotlight each Tuesday and Wednesday evening on College 56. We'll get more to that in a second. Here we go. The Spotlight host Mike Maas reviews the week's sports activities, looks at game footage, and talks with the coaches on the program. Back to action here. That's Hammernick out of the back row, and that's a side out for Rutgers.
Hammernick has come alive here in game 2, not only in the middle but also from the back court.
I felt guilty about taking the initiative there.
Nice pass, X-play. Soto annihilating that ball.
Nice job on the part of Gislin, too, to isolate Soto one-on-none.
Great play all around. Mike Cummings up there as well, freezing the middle blocker for Rutgers. Good touch there by Cummings.
Gislin outside. Patak taking a big chop. Back to Scott Lane. Scott Lane is long. However, a net is called on number 9, Yordnov. And that's a point for the Dons as they go up 13-11 here in game 2. So we have a situation where the Dons trailing most of game 2. And now they're very close to putting this one away. A little quick defense on the part of Rutgers, unable to handle the big hit on the part of Scott Lane.
Scott Lane running middle there. And very versatile as a player, can play all positions. It's his second kill out of the middle tonight.
Mike Cummings. And the setter, Chris Goers, tees it up. Nice effort on the part of Goers to save the point, and he gets the serve. A little tit for tat on the part of Chris Gislin. Spearing the ball with one hand, and that is a side out for IPFW.
Great athleticism there by Chris Gislin. One hand set to the middle. Josh Sanders putting it away.
Iordnov down the line. That is a side out. So a nice set on the part of Goers. Heading out of bounds, and he's able to feed Iordnov. Coach Sean Byron of Rutgers calling a substitution now into the game for the first time, Josh Junn. Junn with the jump float. Chris Gislin feeding the shoot to Josh Sanders, and Sanders with the hitting error. That is a point Rutgers as they inch closer. They trail the Dons 13-12 here. Gislin to the outside.
A shot by Patak, jamming it off the block for a side out.
I had a few bodies in the way there. I didn't see who struck that one. Patak back to serve. The jump float, been effective tonight. Hammernick out of the middle. Hammernick solo block. Able to touch Hector Soto, but someone's into the net. And it's number 7, Ryan Burrow, into the net, which results in a point for the Dons, which results in a timeout for Rutgers. The Dons lead Game 2, 14-12, in the process of closing this one out. Be sure to tune into College 56 Sundays at noon and Friday evenings at 8, when host Melissa Long visits with IPFW finance faculty members Jess Beltz and Manish Sharma for an introduction into investing methods and strategies. That's Sundays at noon and Fridays at 8 for IPFW Up Close, right here on College 56. Fans taking in some decent volleyball tonight. Jay Warren along with Ryan Perrott. The IPFW Volley Dons lead this match against the Rutgers Scarlet Raiders 1-0. Game 2 is at 14-12, and both sides coming in now after Rutgers' second timeout.
IPFW able to claw their way back here in Game 2. They trailed for most of Game 2 here. Now they got a chance for game. Jeff Patak will jump float it up. And it goes wide.
Just wide on the part of Jeff Patak. Side out Rutgers. Back to serve now for the Scarlet Raiders, number 10, Jason Hammernick.
Overpass.
Out of bounds. So an error there on the part of Jeremy Deseron.
Hesitation in his step.
Not quite sure what to do with that overpass. Game point now for the Dons. Out of the middle is number 1, Deseron, who gets a chance to redeem himself there. Fed nicely by Chris Goers, so Rutgers stays alive.
No hesitation that time.
Yep. Burrow to serve for Rutgers. Perfect pass. And Mike Cummings knows what to do with that.
Good connection there between Gislin and Cummings.
The timing definitely on there in a perfect pass situation. Mike Cummings back to serve. Game point here, 14-12. And Hammernick out of the right side. Sides out for Rutgers.
Huge swing by Hammernick coming out of the back row.
Into the game now, the big left-hander, Iordnov.
Nice jump serve.
Scott Lane. Deep cross court for the side out. So another crack at it for IPFW at 14-12. Hector Soto coming out of the woodwork there to serve. And that is a service error as it hits the top of the tape. Side out Rutgers.
IPFW unable to close out game 2 here, to the dismay of Coach Ball.
They've definitely had their chances. Nice set on the part of Gislin. Going down to his knees to get that ball. And Jeff Petak tries to finesse it, but not quite enough steam.
Rutgers now within 1.
Hector Soto off the right side. Side out Dons. Into the game now, Josh Sanders. Also into the game for the Dons, Panos Eraklios.
Panos came in last night for match point against Lewis. Got the game-winning dig. Deep float serve here.
Outside to Yordanov. Yordanov with the tip. Scott Lane touching it twice. That second time, however, handcuffing his teammate Chris Gislin. Unable to come up with that ball. Side out Rutgers. There you have Gislin calling out the plays there. Petak. In transition, Hector Soto out of the back row.
Great touch off the block there by Scott Lane on Samadias, able to enable Chris Gislin to set Hector Soto there.
And takes the wind out of the sails of Rutgers momentarily. Dig there. Eraklios kept alive. Almost.
Great dig by Panos in the back there. Attack, unfortunately, unable to keep that ball in the court. Side out to Rutgers.
And we've got a Yordanov there. Hector Soto going down to the ground to pass a perfect ball.
Overpass, look out. Gislin smashing that to the floor, making no mistake.
Samadias trying to pop the ball up, inches its way over the net, and Chris Gislin punishing it.
That was a good chance for Rutgers to score there. Instead of going with the pokey, perhaps he should have hand set the ball.
Out of the middle, Hammerneck. And into the game for Rutgers, Jeremy Deseron.
Wow, Hammerneck has had a very strong game here in game 2. 7 kills in this game alone, 13 for the match.
Hammerneck serve passed up nicely. Hector Soto.
The Rutgers bench up and screaming at arms, thinking that shot by Soto was wide.
That was coming right at us like a laser. Side out IPFW. And a little slow down here.
Coach Byron still having a...
Off camera, Sean Byron having a little word with the down official. Jeremy Deseron keeping things going, however, for Rutgers out of the hands of the setter Chris Goer. So they were able to stave off match point yet again.
Again, another set to the middle. Deseron this time able to sneak it through the arms of Cummings. Another chance here for Rutgers to tie at 14.
Big. Just touching the net is number 7's Ryan Burrows' jump serve. The Rutgers passers there talking to each other. Chris Gislin.
It's an ace.
It is an ace. And the Rutgers passer electing as he's going down to the ground, pulls off of it, but made the wrong choice as Chris Gislin serves up match point with an ace. We'll be right back with more Mastodon volleyball action right after this.
I'm Walter Bowman, Director of Athletics at IPFW. Thank you for joining us this evening and allowing me 60 seconds of your time. Since August of this academic year, you have both read and heard of our drive for Division I status. The Executive Board of the Royal Dons Athletic Association, our associates in Business 100, and hundreds of constituents like yourself have all joined together with a single purpose, Division I athletics for you and the Fort Wayne community. At present, we are exploring many possibilities for potential conference affiliation, along with expanding the base programs offered. Recently, the faculty approved the addition of men and women's indoor and outdoor track, bringing our offerings to 16 varsity programs. I believe that when we are an NCAA Division I program, each of you watching this television program tonight will have an opportunity to view firsthand the Hoosiers, Boilermakers, and the Fighting Irish here in Fort Wayne and at the Coliseum and at the university. In order to move our vision from the dream stage to reality, we need to continue to attract strong alumni and community support. Fort Wayne, the second largest city in the state, is deserving of a Division I program which reflects the community's greatness. Together, you and I are positioned to form an alliance which will give the citizens of Northeast Indiana even more reason to show our Hoosier pride. The number on the screen will provide you the opportunity to become involved in Mastodon excitement. Pick up your phone and call me so we can discuss your involvement.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
On the big highway of life, there's only one safe place for kids. Back seat, baby. The front seat's not the place to drop out. Don't want that big old bag to pop out. Back seat, baby. Put that booties in the back seat. Back seat, baby. Have action kids you never meet. I'm here to remind you to put them behind you. Back seat, baby. Wow! Let me hear it. Back seat, baby. To stay alive even when I drive.
Take Simmons.
Yeah. Give me Jones.
Anderson.
Smith.
Lightfoot.
Bishop.
Hernandez.
Swifka.
Harris.
Lavenger.
Peavy.
Yes.
In the game of life, you've got a much better chance at getting picked for a cool job with great pay if you take algebra, geometry, and calculus. You need to know how math can improve your future. Demand it. Call NACME. We'll tell you.
And welcome back to IPFW volleyball action. You're watching College 56. This is Jay Warren along with Ryan Perrott. And the IPFW Volleydons winning Game 2 against the Rutgers Scarlet Raiders. Game 2, a much closer match there. Looks like we're got a little replay action there. And unable to tell who that big hitter was, but there's a few big hitters on the part of IPFW. So
as you mentioned, a closer and tighter Game 2. There was a
that was
look
that
at
match
the service
point.
ace. Yeah, game point there. Chris Gislin serving it out wide.
The passer making a choice, but unfortunately for Rutgers, the wrong one.
But Rutgers picked it up in Game 2. After Game 1, they were only hitting about 24%. After Game 2, 35%, they were able to step it up. Jason Hammernick was the man for Rutgers in Game 2. 11 kills. He's now got 17 for the match so far. IPFW hitting at an impressive clip, 45% for them. Hector Soto leading the way with 18 kills. IPFW outdigging Rutgers through 2 games, 28-16. And they're out blocking Rutgers at the net, 8-4. And as the successes we've seen the last couple weeks, IPFW, a lot of success in matches overall when they block well at the net, and they're doing so the last couple of nights here at the Gate Sports Center.
Number 8.
Coach Paul talking things over there with his assistant coaches. Lisa Horman, Dave Schmidlin,
and
Mark Franke.
There's a Volleydon fan there. Sean Byron there, trying to figure out a way to get his guys to play with the same intensity in Game 3. Maybe they can make things go a little longer here against IPFW.
He has to be very pleased with the way that his players came out and competed there in Game 2. Unfortunately, they weren't able to tie it up or take the lead at any point in the latter stages there, but should be very pleased if the guys can continue to pick it up. They've had a lot of success running middle. Deseron hitting around 58% and Hammernick 52% tonight. So if they continue to, and their passing in game 2 from game 1 was much better. So hopefully if they can get those things going, and maybe they could perhaps steal a game here on the road against the Mastodons.
You got a shot there of Scott Lane limbering up here for game 3. And both sides waiting for the down official to submit the lineups, or rather to check them, which he has done. And number 5, Samadias, getting ready to get the call. Start off game 3. The solo block there on part of number 1, Jeremy Deseron, and he takes Angel Ruiz.
Angel Ruiz now is checked into the game. Stuffed on his first attempt.
So quick point there for Rutgers. Back to Ruiz. And he takes care of it the second time. Side out Dons.
Ruiz able to jam it off the top of the block for a side out. Scott Lane now back to serve. IPFW through 2 games. 4 service aces to 15 service errors. And make it number 5 as Scott Lane racks up the Spader. His favorite serve, that tough jump serve, top spin up the line.
And Lane's serve into the net, however, not before they tie it up 1 apiece. Another shot of Scott Lane there. Pass by P-Tag, the slide to Angel Ruiz, and that is a side out. And Jeff P-Tag. Jump float into the net. Side out Scarlet Raiders of Rutgers. And Bill Lesho serves it in, a little floater there. And the off speed on the part of Scott Lane is good for a side out.
Nice roll shot by Scott Lane, his 13th kill tonight in 20 attempts.
Into the game for IPFW's Josh Sanders. There's Angel Ruiz.
Serve barely clipped the net there by Ruiz.
And back into the game, John Thompson, the libero tonight. Iordnov with his floater. Chris Gislin going high outside to Hector Soto. And Hector Soto with a hitting error as he goes long.
Only Soto's 3rd error tonight. He leads the team in hitting percentage for the season around the 38% mark, which is outstanding for an outside hitter, considering all the attempts he's had.
And Soto doesn't make the same mistake, siding out for the Dons.
All-American first team last year, Hector Soto. Another All-American, second team, Chris Gislin. Another error for IPFW service-wise.
So a somewhat slow start here. A couple of service errors right off the top. Back to serve now for Rutgers, Hammernick.
Tough serve there by Jason Hammernick.
Chris Gislin, nice set, going down low, feeding Scott Lane. So a tough pass initially, however, saved by Gislin, and that is good for a side out. And Hector Soto back to serve now.
Smash on the over bump there by Patak.
That ball came this way, so I was making sure I was going to take it in the noggin.
Unlike last night where we had some beverages spilled on us. We'll serve another 3 service errors already here in game 3 for the Dons.
Ryan Burrow now back for the Scarlet Raiders. Big serve passed up easily, however, on the part of John Thompson. Quick little stab there on the part of Hammernick, was able to keep it alive, but not alive enough as it kind of floats out of bounds. And that's a side out for IPFW. Josh Sanders back to serve. Setting there is number 3, Bill Lesho. Seeing a little action there. However, he sets somewhat low and handcuffs his hitter. That is a point for IPFW. Lesho again, running the middle. 4 hits on the part of the Raiders. Looks like Lesho's hands are a little slower than his counterpart Goers. What does that do for a hitter when you've got a different setting style?
Yeah, exactly. You got to be able to adjust to the new tempo of the new setter. And right now, coming off the bench, a little tight perhaps in the hands. A couple of low, tight sets. The Rutgers players are going to have to adjust.
One might question why the change in setters after a very nice game 2 for Rutgers.
Exactly, and of course only Coach Byron could explain that for us.
A little armchair quarterbacking over here.
IPFW now up 6-2.
Another low set there on the part of Lesho in transition for IPFW, and they are making them pay.
It's always tough for a new player to come in cold off the bench and get something going. Timeout called here by Rutgers.
IPFW goes up 7-2. You're watching College 56. We'll be right back.
I wanted to study engineering so I could get a better job without giving up the job I've already got.
Of course, getting a degree without going into debt was pretty high on my list, too.
And I wanted the kind of education that I could only get in smaller classes with the professor's full attention.
IPFW offered me all of that. And the Purdue engineering degree is going to look pretty good on my resume.
Going to IPFW is the best choice I ever made.
IPFW, the right school, right here, right now.
Got a little tickling going on, a little craziness on the part of some IPFW fans there. The Afro-Dons.
I like to call them the Rogaine boys.
The Rogaines. The hair going wild there on the part of the Afro-Dons.
Nice crowd on hand for tonight's matchup.
Somewhat sparse though. Decent turnout, but not as much as you see for some other matches.
Everybody was here last night for the big Lewis matchup. 9 versus 10 in the country. As that serve's going to be long.
Well, after the timeout on the part of Rutgers, no changes made in the setter. Ryan Perrott and Jay Warren thinking that possibly we're second-guessing Coach Sean Byron there. High outside set to Perrott, or rather, forgive me, Perrott, you're in the game?
I wish, let me tell you.
You're in the game figuratively.
I wish.
That's a little Freudian slip there. That's Jeff Petak hitting the ball long.
If you have an extra jersey, I'll be glad to go out there. I didn't know I had another year of eligibility remaining.
I can do a lot of things. Rutgers, a little out of system there, struggling along. In system, however, is IPFW, and Scott Lane putting the hurt on the volleyball.
Another kill for Lane, 14 on the night. He stepped up his intensity level here tonight. He's back now to jump serve. He's had a couple aces here tonight.
Going for that tough serve down the line, though, and unable to pull that one out. Shot of the backcourt of IPFW. Hector Soto passing the ball up. Big hit on the part of Petak. And that is blocked but kept in play. Another block on the part of IPFW.
Tight set.
Problems over there for Rutgers.
Great play at the net there by Ruiz. Nice coverage on the part of Scott Lane there, something perhaps overlooked by most observers to the game. Scott Lane, after the attack by Patak, covering up his teammate, allowing IPFW to win the point.
That's why we have you here, Ryan, is to the keen eye. Another low set there on the part of Lesh. Well, I better lighten up on our our friend Bill Lesho there.
Calling that shot off the net.
Okay.
Off the antenna, rather, on the outside. They're going to give a point here to IPFW. See if we can listen into some of the commotion.
What's that? 8? I got touch. No, after the block, I got the touch coming off the hit.
Hit him? Hit the hitter?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, through from here, this way, out.
So hitter, block, then off.
Block, this way, touch the guy on the... He was over here, touch this way through.
So a point to the Dons. They go up 8-3. And we have our down official explaining things to Sean Byron, who is not pleased with the call. Still wondering what's being done. Substitution now on the part of the Dons. Into the game, John Scott. He's going in for Jeff Petak. And he gets a nice little round of applause. And that block, that middle set not going anywhere. Point Dons, they go up 9-3 now here in game 3. They lead the Rutgers Scarlet Raiders 2-0 here. Here's John Scott. High cross court hit. Looked like it was going out of bounds, but John Thompson, the libero on the part of IPFW, making a commitment and staying with it, touches the ball, and that's a side out for Rutgers. Low floater. Chris Gislin trying a tough set to Scott Lane. Scott Lane with the hitting error, and that's a point Rutgers, 9-4 now. Bill Lesho, the setter.
Nice pass by Scott there into the game. Ruiz able to tool the block for a kill.
And into the game now, number 9, Josh Sanders. Angel Ruiz. Into the top of the tape, side out Rutgers.
Wow, IPFW approaching the 20 service error mark tonight.
What is a palatable average if you're Arnie Ball?
Well, you want at least one service ace to about 3 service errors. Anything better than that, of course, would be outstanding.
Got a great rally here. Pancake on the part of Rutgers to keep the ball alive. And a kill there by number 7, Ryan Burrow, out of the hands of Bill Lesho. And actually, we've got IPFW winning that point, so we had something happen that this broadcaster wasn't able to see.
I think that shot by Burrows there went wide.
I gotcha.
Side out to the Dons.
And a service error there on the part of Chris Gislin, side out Raiders. Jason Hammernick back to serve.
Nice pass again by Scott.
John Scott into the match, making a difference for the IPFW Volleyball.
Perfect pass. Sanders able to spank it to the floor. Scott, who has come in and replaced Patak.
And he has entered the front row now as Hector Soto has gone to the back row. So we'll see John Scott take a couple swings possibly.
Wow. A lot of heat there by Ryan Burrow.
John Thompson in the right spot, unable to get up, come up with the ball though. Taking it more or less off the chops, it almost looked like. So despite the big hit on the part of Burrow, he serves one wide. That's a side out for the Dons. Into the game now, Jeff Schmitz, 6'6" freshman out of West Allis, Wisconsin. Some of the bench players seeing a little action here tonight.
Coach Ball getting some players some experience. Side out kill there by Rutgers.
And Schmitz exit the game. Back in is John Thompson. Back to serve now for Rutgers, number 5, Samadias.
It's an overpass chance here for Rutgers to score. They do.
A nice chase on the part of John Thompson, though, to try to keep that rally going. Unable to bring that ball back in, though. Samadias, a senior, 6'3", from Athens, Greece. John Scott from Arlington, Texas.
His first kill tonight, going high and hard down the line.
And John Scott getting a nice little round of applause there.
Very explosive player, very dynamic. He's had nice hops.
Bill Lesho to the center, to the middle rather. Well, quick hit there. That's a side out Rutgers.
Desrin with yet another kill. Both these middles for Rutgers hitting over 500% for the match. Outstanding mark.
Yep, strong night for the Rutgers middles. John Scott fed into a triple block.
Not a good set selection there by Gislin. Had Scott out, hung to dry there. All three blockers waiting for him. Little combination play. None of the Rutgers blockers bit on Ruiz's jumping ability. See if he sets the middle here. Go back, pipe set.
And we've got a back row attack. Looks like Hector Soto stepped on the line.
Hector can't believe it. It's a rarity. Back row violation on his part. Rutgers now creeping within 2. Oh, and a crucial service error there by Desron.
So John Scott back to serve. He replaced Jeff Petak here in game 3. Into the game for Rutgers is number 12, Brian Stern.
Jump serve here by Scott. A lot of topspin. Just long.
We got a shot of Scott there, lining up, ready to pass.
Nobody up.
And that's a side out for Hector Soto, though. Amazing touch. Just, it looked like it was Iordinov, well, rather probably Jeremy Hoff there, trying to get some form of hands up there and managed to get a touch out of it.
Tried sparingly to get some limb up there. Soto using him.
Yeah, right. It doesn't matter whether it's Hoff or the floor, Soto with the kill. Angel Ruiz unable to keep that hard cross-court hit in play, and that's a side out Rutgers. Jeremy Hoff now will float it in. Little miss hit there on the part of Josh Sanders, but that is able to trickle in for a side out. Although still some timing issues there in the middle for IPFW.
Little paintbrush shot there by Josh Sanders. IPFW's middles, however, tonight have hit really well. Josh Sanders hitting over 55%. Mike Cummings played well as well tonight. So something that Chris Gislin and the IPFW coaching staff wanted to work on tonight, and it's evident.
Yes. We got a substitution here for Rutgers into the game, number 1, Jeremy Deseron.
Serve clip the net.
So here in game 3, IPFW got out to a quick start. Rutgers, however, able to slow things down. They trail the Dons 9-7 now. And another service error there, Hector Soto. smirking to himself about that one. And Ryan Burrow getting ready to feed it in play.
Nice pass by Thompson. Scott going again over the top.
And it sounded as though it was even a little bit of a mishit there.
Mishit perhaps off his ring finger on his right hand. Ball able to find the court nonetheless, giving the side out to the Dons.
And Josh Sanders. Kept in play. It was blocked straight down, went off the head of the middle.
It's going to be called 4 contacts on Rutgers. The attempt in the middle was stuff blocked at the net by Ruiz and Lane and Scott. Ball caromed off the head.
So point Dons, 10-7 now. Bill Lesho out of the hands to number 10, Jason Hammernick. And Hammernick's hit is long, and that is a point for the Dons.
To explain that 4 contacts,
yes.
When Desron went to attack, he was stuff blocked, came down and hit him on the head. That counts as an attack. So they had 2 other plays. Instead, they went 3. That's a violation.
Meantime, Jason Hammernick sides out for Rutgers. There you have the pre-point preparations there, and a part of a few of the Dons. Samadias. Just long.
20 service errors now for Rutgers.
A little off speed there. John Scott forced to roll it in. So in transition there, out of the hands of Hector Soto, John Scott keeping the ball going. And Rutgers with a pretty free chop at the ball, and they were able to side out.
Shot by Lane there, hit the antenna out of bounds. Another point to Rutgers. Now 11-8, IPFW here in game 3.
And that is a side out for the Dons as it goes off the block, off the Rutgers block. And we have John Scott back to serve for the Dons. Looking for a touch there, no touch. That's a point for the Dons. Entering the game now, Matthew Kent, a 6'6" freshman from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Coach Arnie Ball getting all the guys in there. John Scott bringing the heat. Side out Raiders as they keep fighting. Bill Lesho, the setter, back to serve now.
Something we haven't seen in a while from Gislin. Slam dunk. Great pass by Hector Soto, enabling Gislin to do such.
Now, does he have to keep going the same direction the ball is traveling? Can he redirect the ball, or will that be a lift?
Well, because he did it with his left hand, he had to do it in the direction that he came. Just take it overhand and slam it to the floor. It's all legal now in volleyball. Nice up there, and it's going to land in. A little miscommunication on the Dons' part at the net. Nice dig in the backcourt there by one of the Rutgers players, sticking out the arm.
Jeremy Hoff.
Sanders with the drive there.
Off the shoot set from Chris Gislin.
Sanders has had a very strong match offensively. Very tough man to stop in the middle.
Tough set there on the part of Bill Lesho. A little too far outside, forcing Samadias to trapping Samadias. He was unable to handle things. You'll want to be sure and tune in to College 56 tomorrow evening to hear IPFW Assistant Professor of Education Phyllis Agnes present her talk, When School Becomes Home, America's Homeless Children, this Sunday evening, April 2nd at 9, right here on College 56. This is Jay Warren along with Ryan Perrott. You're watching IPFW Volleyball. The Volleyball lead Game 3, 13-8. They lead the match over Rutgers Newark, 2-0. And you've got some happy fans there watching their Dons move closer and closer to a victory here.
Dons having a very successful weekend, beating Lewis last night in 4 tough games. Able to bounce back here and put on a good performance against a very pesky Rutgers team. This week, Wednesday, they'll travel to go to Muncie. They'll go to play Ball State there, which is always a tough place to play. And then next Saturday, they're home here at Clark University. So, busy week of volleyball action for the Dons.
Chris Gislin. Out of the middle is Hammernick. Malakovic passed the perfect ball there. Hammernick now back to serve. Getting back to what we were talking about earlier, the setting of Bill Lesho steadied out a little bit here in Game 3.
His teammates able to come up and step up with him. Not a big blowout as we were thinking about earlier when Rutgers trailed early 4-0.
Hector Soto inspecting the ball before he flips it up for his jump serve.
Soto, another service error. He's having difficulty with his toss. You see him on the back line. Just toss the ball higher, toss the ball higher. Something he'll work on.
Ryan Burrow, hard-hitting Burrow. To John Scott to the outside, swinging hard off the hands there. Bill Lesho. John Thompson bringing the ball up. John Scott. And John Scott's hit is long. That results in a point for the Scarlet Raiders.
Burrow has served very well tonight. A lot of topspin there on that jump serve.
So Chris Gislin's attempt to set Matthew Kent results in another point there as Kent hitting error. Rutgers trying to climb back into this one, keeping alive here in Game 3. They get up to 13-10. Hector Soto is blocked. So 3 quick points for Rutgers Newark, and Coach Arnie Ball saying we got to slow things down here, and he calls timeout. IPF students voted in this week's student government election. Congratulations to Nick Gray, Jim Corson, Jenny Johnson, and Matthew McDonald, who won seats in the 2000-2001 IPFW student government. Next item on their agenda is the swearing-in ceremony. Join IPSGA correspondent Dan Westrick next week on a very special edition of IPSGA Update as he talks with the winners from this year's student government election. Don't miss this special interview Fridays at 1 p.m. on College 56. Hey, you're watching College 56, your source for IPFW volleyball. This is Jay Warren along with Ryan Perrott. The Rutgers Newark Scarlet Raiders trying to stay alive here in Game 3 as they've inched their way back. They are only down 2 now. And the timeout serves to chill Ryan Burrow, and his serve is long. Josh Sanders.
Just about to mention how crucial that serve was for Rutgers. Shot there out of the middle. Remember in game 2 where they clawed their way back but could never take the lead from IPFW. Same thing here in game 3. They've crept within 2. Serving now becoming very critical for the Scarlet Raiders. Nice pass there by Scott.
And that's Matthew Kent, 6'6" freshman from Virginia Beach, Virginia. And Matthew Kent is good for the side out. And he gets to take a crack at the serve here.
Jump serve posture. Gonna sail long. A little shaky there on the toss, perhaps some nerves. Side out to Rutgers.
Jeremy Deseron.
Oh, service error. Back to back. That's just a killer, especially when you try to creep to tie. Another chance here for IPFW to go to 14.
Looked like it went off the noggin of Angel Ruiz there. He was moving around, trying to hang in there with the Rutgers attackers. A shot there of Scott getting ready to pass the ball. And Bill Lesho floating it in there to Scott.
Oh, that was awful.
Oh, man. So a huge hit on the part of Hector Soto. Looks like it goes off the foot of one of the Rutgers players. And a quick whistle there. And Rutgers did not like that at all.
The entire Rutgers bench up in arms on that call. It did appear like it hit the foot. And a crucial hitting error now. Match point for the Dons.
So maybe there's Arnie Ball unexcited about things. But his Dons are now serving for match point. And Angel Ruiz into the center of the net.
Although Coach Ball perhaps may look disinterested from where we're at, trust me, deep down inside, all the emotions running.
Ryan Perrott knows otherwise.
Oh, great chase there by Rutgers.
Malakovic with a great chase. Just prolonged things, though, as Hector Soto buried the ball. You had Malakovic going way off the court to keep that ball in play.
Great scrambling on the part of the Rutgers. Another chance now for match point.
Perfect pass there. Bill Lesho feeding his man Burrow. And that ball was blocked in by Hector Soto, resulting in point, and that is the match. As the IPFW Volley Dons go 3 straight against Rutgers Newark. Stay with us. Hey, we're not going anywhere, I've been told by our producer, so you will stay with us. So the IPFW Mastodons taking things 3 straight. And you have to wonder, though, out of game 2, Rutgers doing some nice things, made somewhat of a nice match of it, and then a little setting change there, and slowed down to game 3. They were able to hold on somewhat, but not able to handle the IPFW Volley Dons.
Yeah, credit to the Scarlet Raiders. They hung in tough against just an overpowering IPFW Mastodon team here tonight. Game 2. Losing 15-13, perhaps some of the wind out of the sails of Rutgers, but they were able to bounce back in game 3, made it close, but unfortunately fell to the Mastodons. Checking the final stats, IPFW as a team hit over 400%. Rutgers only 200%. IPFW 5 service aces and 30 service errors. That is an unbelievable number. They're going to have to limit that down, especially when they go next week to play Ball State at Ball State. 36 digs as a team for IPFW and 14 blocks. The lead man in kills for IPFW, Hector Soto, 23 kills in 35 attempts. He had 52% tonight. Scott Lane, 16 kills in 26 attempts. Josh Sanders, very productive out of the middle, 14 kills and 19 attempts.
And also in game 3, some of the bench players for IPFW getting a shot at things. John Scott out of Arlington, Texas, and then we also had Matthew Kent getting a couple of chances. Here we got a replay. This is the last side out as Hector Soto, that's Makovich, who chased a ball down there, Malakovic rather. And then Chris Gislin goes back to Hector Soto and he bombs one away. So you had the final rally there as Malakovic really making a nice play there, the libero for the Scarlet Raiders. And then serving up a match point of the Dons is Scott Lane. And right away, that ball is blocked and darn near went out of bounds there. Hector Soto got his hands up there, solo block, but it landed on the line apparently. And that was good enough for match point.
Great block by Soto there to close things out as IPFW improves to 15-7 overall. 7-5 in non-conference play, but more importantly with their win last night over Lewis, they're 8-2 in conference play and continue to hold down that second seeding in the MIVA behind Ohio State as they get ready to take on Ball State in a big match Wednesday night in Muncie.
Well, we'll be back in 2 weeks on Friday evening, April 14th, for more IPFW Live Sports when we bring you live coverage of the Volleyball contest with the Hawks of Quincy University. Tune in at 7 Friday evening, April 14th for IPFW against Quincy. It's right here on College 56. And we sure enjoyed having you folks here. This is Jay Warren along with Ryan Perrott. You've got College 56 tuned in, home of Mastodon Volleyball. The IPFW Volleydons beating Rutgers Newark, the Scarlet Raiders, 3-0 tonight. Sure enjoyed having you along. For Ryan Perrott, I'm Jay Warren. You have a good evening. And we would be remiss to forget mentioning our sponsors. Special thanks to our program tonight was sponsored in part by Dairy Queen, Waterfield Mortgage, Fuji Film, Touchstone, Chestnut Group Incorporated, Farm Bureau Insurance, and we'll wait for the graphics to catch up, and Pizza Hut of Canterbury, featuring famous Pizza Hut pizza. We'd like to thank at this time the College 56 production crew, the IPFW athletics staff, the City of Fort Wayne, Comcast Cablevision, the IPFW Learning Resource Center, and especially the IPFW Office of University Relations and Communications for their contributions to this College 56 sports telecast. And there we go. A look at our credits and a few last shots there. This telecast of IPFW Sports is copyrighted and the sole property of the College Cable Access Center and IPFW. Unauthorized duplication, exhibition, rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this event without expressed written consent is strictly prohibited. We hope you've enjoyed our telecast of IPFW Sports. Thanks again for joining us this evening. For Ryan Perrott, this is Jay Warren saying goodbye for now.